Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Silent Podcast Survivor South Africa coverage. We are going to be covering episode 11, and I am your host, Sasha, with my co host, Jason, to talk about, I think, one of the most devastating episodes yet, but it's okay. We're going to talk through it, people. We're getting it together. Jason, how are you?
Sasha, I've been doing better. I've been depressed for the last few days that our queen, Anesu, was taken out of this game. She did everything right in 28 days except playing her tribal council pass when it mattered most. But
Yep.
let's give her all the credit because she crushed it this game. And I'm really excited to talk about it and the unfortunate outcome at the end of this episode.
Very much agree because, oh my God, she had it. They had an idol, they had a tribal council pass. Oh, what happened? Okay. Anyway, so I do want to say that, we get an opening, like maybe a rewind, I'll say, where it's saying Santony, can't, like Tyson is saying Santony can't get it. And then Santony, Warda said, we get a sound bite of Santony might be our downfall. So at this point, like that's where my eggs are in with that basket because this is saddest thing ever. Let's get into it. We really out the gate, it's Tyson versus Anesu. Tyson with a shady confessional saying Anesu doesn't know she's at the bottom. And she might be getting voted out because of it, because we can't trust her. She's a snake. When did this happen? I don't know.
I audibly gasped when I heard Tyson
Right?
on how he is at the top of the food chain and Anesu is at the bottom. And the best part is she doesn't
know. Oh, she knows.
Yeah.
And then Anesu, on the same hand, wants Tyson out because, like Tyson said, he is like part of this twosome, according to her, of Warda and him. Interesting that she doesn't count Kieran as part of that. Maybe down the line it might hurt or help Kieran's game. We don't know yet. And then Anesu does think that she, has got the numbers now, and it's time to play hard, people.
I loved hearing her say this, that no one is going to talk her out of taking a big risk in the game. The time is now. And I had a glimmer of hope. I'm like, Tyson might be gunning for her, but she is going to take them out first.
Well, because again, Kieran says this, that, like Kieran says, she is just as good as me. So I just thought she could do it. Moment of silence, man, for Anesu. You killed it, girl. And then we pretty quickly go into the reward challenge, where they're split into teams of 4. I really like this challenge, where they have to like throw coconuts into a basket. I was like, net basket. And then to knock the tower down, and that which in turn will knock puzzle pieces down, and then you get to a puzzle. The winning team gets a test drive a Mahindra, which I will say, so cool. Mahindra is an Indian car brand, so it's really fun to like see this because I didn't know there were Mahindras outside of India, but here we are. And then and a barbecue as well is like the reward. Like, Jason, what do you think about the reward?
I really liked these rewards. Seeing the car gave me major like OG Survivor memories on the first few seasons when that was a reward, and they did get to test drive that car around the beach. So I was feeling very vintage, reminiscing, and I loved this barbecue. This braai they had, it was everything, and all the fixins. It was enough food for a dozen people, and I just am so glad that Survivor South Africa has these top-notch rewards. Episode after episode, these are the best rewards I've ever seen on any season of Survivor.
100%, not even close. Someone actually even asked Chappies, I think, like, hey, could you let me know, like, did you think you would win the Mahindra? And then Chappie said, actually, like, if maybe it was a one-on-one, like, then yeah, but it was 4 people, so there was no way.
The other thing that stood out to me once they did the rock draw and split the teams is how much taller Chappies is than everyone else. I guess I just didn't realize it, but he probably has 5 to 6 inches on the next tallest person, who I think is Anella.
Yeah, we again, I think what first like Sean is pretty tall, Marisha is pretty tall. Who else? And Rainier, I think, is
Rainier.
also
Well,
and
with his
Rainier's
hair.
hair, yeah. Uh, is also much taller, I would say. So yeah, I also didn't think so, which is why I think that also comes into his advantage later on.
Hmm.
But yeah, so the green team is Warda, Tyson, Nicole, and Chappies, which pisses off Santony because the orange team is Kieran, Anesu, Anella, and Santony. Santony and Chappies get picked like by default, so aka last. Santony's pretty pissed about this. She's not having it. But anyway, they were pretty kind of close with the coconut throwing, and then all
Hmm.
of a sudden, green team, Chappie's height, like that
Yeah.
advantage happened, and then all of a sudden, green like had it at the end, and it was a wrap. They win a reward.
I thought it was a really fun puzzle. I like that it was a like jumbo sized, and it was a
Yes.
win out play out last.
Yeah.
And so I just dug it. I thought it was fun. They all worked together. And something
Yeah.
different. We don't usually
Mhm.
see like the throw the rocks or throw the coconuts
Yeah.
into a basket with a puzzle at the end.
Exactly. I like the look of it, if
Mhm.
that makes sense, where I was just like loving how everything would like fall. Like there was so many elements to it. So great challenge as well. And then green wins reward. Nico was like on one this whole episode, where I feel like Nico was dragging them. Like he's over
Mhm.
them in the best way, like as in he's like, y'all are giving great content, so let me like drag. Just the Nico asks Tyson, is the green curse broken? He said it was broken when Kieran won immunity.
It's been broken, Nico.
What? Oh my god.
I thought the Orange Tribe was cursed originally from Malolo, so I was kind of confused when this happened.
Yeah, I thought it was orange curse, not green. Because but I think no, this season though it was switched where orange is better and then green sucks.
Yeah.
But Malolo, yes. Wendell, shout out, did not want to sit in the orange chair. He was right.
What did you think of Nicole wanting to test drive the car? That really surprised me.
Okay, I actually made that note. Is Nicole the only one that knows how to drive? Because Warda like gave a like interesting like, oh, you're lucky you know how to drive or something. So I didn't know if like it's their New Yorker situation where they never had to drive
I
or
also thought maybe
what.
it was a stick shift and she was the only person that knew how to drive that.
Oh,
But
I
I
didn't
bet
think of
Chappies
that.
does.
Yeah, Aquaman, he knows everything. Yeah, if any survivors are watching, let us know. If why did Nicole drive? I mean, I love it because I think again it would have defaulted to a Chappie's like
Mhm.
archetype driving. But listen, not in Survivor South Africa. We're gonna have the women drive. And then so right before the reward, like I said, Santony's furious. What do you think of Anesu? Like stroking this fire?
Anesu played it perfectly.
Yes.
I think everyone on that grass could feel Santony fuming when
Yep.
Tyson picked Nicole, and she said, "This is our opportunity to strike." And Anesu went all in to be like, "How dare he pick her over you?"
Yes.
He wants to eat. Him and Warda want to eat. You deserve to eat.
I loved it. I'm telling you, this is exactly the thing. And then Santony also talks about why pick our nemesis.
Ooh.
How dare you pick our nemesis for a and she's a challenge beast. So all I know is that all y'all want is to eat because you don't care and you're gonna take our nemesis with you, which also gets a wiggle in for Anesu. And then Santony says, Warda and Tyson have got to split up. Like they just have to split up. And that's the only way, which I loved that Santony's getting it. And then did you like when Santony said, Serious Santony is a bitch?
I loved that. I am so here for Serious Santony. She is just giving it to us in these confessionals. I just want to hang out with Santony so bad and just laugh.
Seriously, I think Santana would be so fun because she probably gets all the tea, so she would
Right.
just share that with us. Ugh, I love it. And then we get to the reward challenge where it's a brie, I think is what they called it, which is a barbecue.
Mhm.
And then before we get started, they have 4 envelopes with their name on it.
Well, I really did think it was 4 different advantages that production was just giving to each of them, but
I
it really.
also wouldn't think it was family letters, I will say.
Oh, see, I knew it was letters. I love that they were looking under everything. It really,
Yes.
that's Chappie's MO. He's like always in looking for clues and advantages. I really appreciated that they ate first and then read the letters
Yeah.
after so they could enjoy their meal and not be like crying into the barbecue.
Exactly. They were like, "Stop, stop, stop. Hold on, hold on, hold on." Like, "No, no, no. We're going to wait. We're going to wait." And then it's letters from home, really beautiful, but then Chappie says after food or during food, sorry. Chappie says, "Nicole, I hope you feel included. We don't want you to feel left out." Chappie's okay. Like sow some seeds of doubt here. Why don't you instead? And then Tyson talks about how Nicole and Smash, need to come over to our side. Chappie's not on your side.
But Tyson is playing it hard.
Oh,
They're
Tyson's
all
so good.
they're all checking Nicole as being loyal to death. And
Yes.
what a great attribute to be described as in the
Yep.
game of Survivor. That because when you're loyal, people want to work with you.
Yep.
I was cracking up though at Warda talking about their alliance, on how nobody is counted out, how they are an alliance with imagination. They think outside of the box.
Oh,
What is she referencing?
first of all, I want to incorporate that into my everyday life. When Warda says we play with imagination, that again, how does she come up with this stuff? I'm not like the round table playing with imagination. Like, I think because I think her work, right, is to,
And it's because she's a fan.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's why.
Oh, I loved it. Like, I was buying it. And I was like, wait, wait, wait. No, no, no. We don't want Anesu out. Stop. Don't fall into this, Sasha. And yes, I very much agree with you about that, Jason.
And I was really impressed that since the last episode, Nicole has waken up, see how the game is played, and said, "Oh, now you want to work with me?
Oh,
24
Nicole.
hours ago, I was the biggest target, and today you're interested in me playing with me."
Yep.
And I just love that she was able to see that and acknowledge her place in the game, because just in the last episode, she made the wrong decision taking her allies on that water park reward.
100%. And she knows that. I think eventually I'm sure someone must have told her that. But either way, she's like, this is interesting because it's now 3 versus 3, as in OG Vuna have split up. So it's 3 versus 3. And then Nicole, it needs to decide, I need to go with the crew that's going to who will not take me out first. Is how Nicole is thinking, which, listen, I understand, like, you're at the bottom, but now you're all of a sudden in a power place. So do you, boo? Like, don't get caught up in this crosshair, unfortunately.
I think she's playing it really well.
Yes. I like I said, I think, again, if we're not careful, Nicole and Smash might, sneakily get to the end. I can see now a way for them to do that, because Santini and Chappie still don't have, like, they still need them, Nicole and Smash. So let's see, or they'll get taken out. And then Tyson gets a sports update in his letter, which I thought was really funny. I feel like very much me. If like OU football was playing, Jason, I think like that's what my husband would have to write in the letter for me.
And even if it wasn't true, he could say like Oklahoma beat Texas again, just to like boost your
Imagine.
spirits up on the island.
Ooh, even if it's a lie, I don't care.
Exactly.
I would be dragging, and I'd be like, "Look at you, Texas!" And then they can play that forever on loop. Yeah, horns down always. And so it's. I love that. I thought that was a sweet little touch, because Tyson is very like in your face. Like, he's aggressive player, and I mean that in a good way. So, it was nice to see like a little bit of like his guard down. And then Warda was crying for her husband, I think, and then Nicole's whole family seems like wrote it. Can we talk about Chappie's?
Chappie's wife drew all these hearts and pictures on the note, which was just adorable. He said it reminded him of high school, when people used to pass notes to each other. Like more like middle school,
my first love in high school.
But it was
So
wonderful, and I
cute.
like that we're seeing that softer side of Chappie's, giving him like
Yes.
showing us who he is on the outside. He's not just this Aquaman competition beast. He is like a loving husband and
Yep.
hopefully father also, I believe.
Yeah. New father maybe? I don't right. Does he have kids before he left? I think so.
Well, because we
Um
learned his wife was pregnant at the last
right.
family reward, so
Exactly. So I wonder if he got updates about that probably. And then we're back at camp where Anesu is saying, I need to take out the big threat. Anella, is he on board?
I love how she approached this, saying, I might be shooting myself in the foot because I know you are tight with Tyson, but we
Yeah.
have got to split the duo up of him and Warda.
Oh, Noah.
I thought
And
she made a good pitch.
of course you did. I'm all in. And then Santini and Chappie, she's saying Santini and Chappie's almost flipped last time. So, and like Santini is ready to flip because, they picked her last and like
Yeah.
she knows that they aren't about her. And then Tyson and Kieran have the same conversation with this man, but they're so much more I think, sorry, not convincing, because they're in a place of power. They have so much more to give off for him. Where Anella says, "Well, who are we voting for?" And then Tyson, the cagey king that he is, says, "I'll tell you after the challenge." And then Kieran, genius, says, "No, we trust him, right? So let's just tell him because we trust him."
I was so
Anella loved
impressed
that.
with this
Yeah.
move by Kieran. Exactly, knowing what would motivate Anella, what would bring him onto their side, and also showing how elite he is as a Survivor player. I was really impressed with him
Yes.
in that moment, thinking on the fly to share the plans and say, we're voting Anesu. You're with us. We are the three now.
Yep. Oh, and then why are they like so against Warda all of a sudden? Like, do you think that's real? Because they do say in this, like they're saying, we want to take you to final three. We're gonna cut Varda. We're gonna cut Warda. What?
And you're in our final three over her. I thought it was a good play because Anella wants
Of
to feel like he's
course.
going to the end, but I
Of
really
course.
feel they're taking advantage of Warda, and she's just a number to them as we see throughout this episode. And I just hope Warda can see that and make a move against them, because I was getting nervous, especially because we weren't hearing her in this episode really. I wanted to see a conversation between her and Anella.
Yeah, or something, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised that that's another thing at the reward. Warda does say, like, I had to bury the hatchet with Chappies, and like, I'm not playing from like the back in the same way. So I'm surprised. I mean, Anella, she had that conversation with Anella last time, but she told Anella, we're gonna take you to like later, but she did not say no final three. So again, Varda girl, watch your back.
Yeah. I was really impressed with Anella right after this when he talks about like, which way should I go?
Yes.
If we go with Anesu and Chappies and Santini to take out one of them, it's going to be their move. But if I choose to go with Tyson and Kieran, it's my move to stay a final tribal because I made this happen. And I just like was blown away by Anella. He is playing the game so hard and keeping his emotions in check.
Yeah.
Everyone is now coming to him to share information. And I think he's playing the game right. I think he did actually make the right decision in this episode. I'm just hoping he flips again next week.
Yeah, I very much agree with you, unfortunately, that he made the right decision, because I think now he can actually say, I was able to, pull this move. Sorry, Anesu. Because I think Anesu will still pay, like, vote for him. Like, it's not like there's no hard feelings, I don't think. And then the last thing is, at camp before immunity challenge is there's a little check-in with Santini and Chappies where, anyone but Tyson, where Anesu, Santini, and Chappies are talking, where they say, we want Santini to go to Immunity Island. So first of all, I love that they're counting her out as like a winner.
And then she's okay with it. She's like, yeah, I'm not going to win the challenge. Send me to Immunity Island.
She's a real one,
where the rock, or I know where the idol is.
Yeah, she's like I said, a real one, because that's how I would be. But like, I hope my ego doesn't get in the way of me like being like Santini.
It also shows the depth of the relationship that Chappies and Anesu built with her. Because if Tyson and Kieran went to Santini and said, we're going to send you to Immunity Island, she would take it in a completely different direction. and it would have become a confrontation. But when it's her allies, she knows it's in their best interest as a group.
Yes. And you know, she gets the immunity idol out of it, right?
Exactly.
And then basically they were like, but also anyone but Tyson and Warda, and we will be fine. Will you? Anyway, so then we get the immunity challenge. Jason, I'm gobsmacked about this whole situation.
I could not believe that 6 of the 8 of them sat out. I thought it would just be the big 3. And it would be
Yes.
Tyson, Kieran, and Warda.
And I thought it would come back to bite them. Like that's what
Exactly.
I'm thinking is the setup here. But anyway, before we get too ahead of ourselves, so what happens is, you know, it's a water challenge. Nico note clocks that Santony is looking terrified. And she says, well, sure I am. And then he says, well, you have food, people. If you don't want to do that, like high risk is
Mhm.
there's food. So if you want to risk your immunity, go ahead, people. Here you go. So and you know, you can like give up your immunity if you would like to eat some food. And then I thought I missed something because next thing I see is there are only 2 people on this stand.
I would have loved to see the deliberation. Sometimes throughout Survivor
Yes.
history, when this type of like compete or eat opportunity arises, they make them all pick a rock. And then
Yeah.
together they can show who's sitting out. Because I feel if I would have seen, 3 people sitting out, it might have like peer pressured me to also sit out. So that really surprised me. But I was really genuinely impressed with Nicole and her effort in this and desire to compete.
Yes. So the only 2 people that decide to compete is Nicole and Chappies. This is another reason why I feel like people should on both sides, but really maybe Anesu should have felt a little shady or you know by Smash, because it's like, why did he choose to sit out if Nicole is going for it? Like, what does that mean?
He also has had a lot of trouble in the water challenges,
Yeah,
where Chappies did
true.
have to save him in addition to
Oh,
Santony.
that's
So
true.
I feel he was just as like nervous to compete in this as Santony was.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So either way, water challenge, they weren't gonna go against Aquaman, aka Chappies.
I just want to point out, I think
Yes.
it's really interesting how popular Aquaman must be in South Africa. Maybe it's Jason Momoa, but this is now the
Oh.
second season in a row where they've nicknamed one of the contestants Aquaman. Because in season 7, it
Wow.
was Dante. And they called him
Oh.
Aquaman because he had long hair, he was always in the water catching fish, and he was also a good swimmer. And so I just think
Got
it's
it.
very interesting that they're using the same DC superhero.
No idea. Yeah, because I don't know but is there anyone else for water you could use?
Free Willy? I'm not sure.
Oh, hell no.
I also noticed when they were sitting out and eating, there were 2 bowls of spaghetti. One was spaghetti
Right.
bolognese, and one was just spaghetti, because as I saw on Twitter this week, Anesu was a vegetarian. So they had a separate reward for her and Warda to eat, which I really appreciated.
Exactly. Same. Yeah, I would have had to eat that. Which sucks because you're eating less. Less protein. Yeah, less protein. But listen, you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, so yeah, the challenge starts. It's just 2 people. We obviously know Nicole doesn't really have a chance. Chappies is 1 out of 7, most likely, right? And as soon as Chappies starts, everyone starts screaming, "Please slow down!"
This was incredible.
Oh my god, yes.
Chappies, who is the best swimmer, the most comfortable in the water, I think was going slower than he normally would have if he would have been competing against everyone.
Yes.
And I loved, as the challenge went on, he got 4 rings on the pole. Yep. And then he just like sat down and chilled and let everyone eat and build rapport with these future jury members. Because if he gets the final tribal, they're going to remember that.
Yeah. And again, it could even be like a subconscious like good connection. It maybe didn't need to be a conscious thing, but they were all like, "You're swimming so fast," you know, as like a joke. So I think it almost like paused the game for a second and like like he could do a relationship building without really even talking
Hmm.
with them. So I think that's a really good, again, like it just all worked out well because he technically could have been salty and been like, no, how dare you guys like eat without me? I'm mad. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. But I will say him, I think going to the reward challenge helped him out a little too. Um oh my god, it would have been a mess. And
What would
then
you have done, Sasha? Would you have competed in this, or would you have sat
well,
out and
we all
eaten
know
pasta?
I cannot swim. So, yes, the vegetarian pasta for me. Because even if obviously I would never go on Survivor if I can't swim, but like I obviously won't be a strong swimmer. And I'm not going against freaking chappies, that's for sure. So, yeah, spaghetti it is. And send me to Immunity Island.
I probably would have been the same way. I'm an
Yeah.
okay swimmer, but competing against someone like Chappies, who we have seen time and time again, is an elite swimmer compared to everyone else. Like, what's the point? You need the nourishment. You don't want to be depleted
Yep.
throughout the game.
Exactly. And like especially if you're Tyson, Warda, Kieran, like you actually are set up pretty well. So like maybe you do take a little pause.
Hmm.
And so is Smash, where he's also set up where they're not looking to take him out. So he's also good, actually. Yeah, and then Nicole like gets all her little props because poor Nicole is like getting her last ring on, and Chappies is like, "Oh, she's coming now. I gotta put the ring on," which I thought was really sweet. But then Nico does a weird like give Nicole her flowers moment. What was
I
that?
I thought I missed something, and Nicole had like
Yes.
decided to quit the game and go home, and they were showering her with love, or she got like terribly injured and had to be medevaced.
Please. Ah!
Because we never see this throughout Survivor history and challenges. The only time
Yes.
actually that I can remember this ever happening was with Suri and Game Changers after the challenge was over when she went across that beam on the water and they were cheering for her. But that was like Queen Suri, 4-time player, best ever, not
Yes.
first-time player Nicole. So it's not apples to apples at all.
No, it made, I'm telling you, I literally was like, people do this when like people are leaving the company, it's your birthday. What else? Like, or you're doing some professional development, like
Mm-hmm.
team building. What? That's so weird.
And then, Nico started talking about how he was so disappointed in everyone. And there are consequences to the choices you make. And when that happened, I thought to myself, oh my God, the consequence is they're not eligible to go to Immunity Island.
That's what I said. I think it should have been something, I will say, because but then, so here's the thing. I kept going back and forth because I was like, I wish there were some consequences. Maybe they lose a vote.
Mhm.
Maybe there is no reward challenge coming up. But then I said no, because production decided that, there was a eat or compete. So it's not production, or sorry, it's not the castaways' fault that the production decided and more people took advantage of it than normal.
Yeah, and just the way Nico was harping on the consequences, I really
Yeah.
thought he was gonna like throw something at them that would be a consequence or a make it a more difficult decision for Chappies on who to send because
Yes.
it was a no-brainer
Or maybe Nicole goes by default
by
because she's the
default.
only one
Yeah.
that played. Yeah, I think that could have been interesting if Nicole was the only one that played and she got it. Because then it's like the point is, even if you don't think you're gonna win, you should still take the risk or something.
And still show up.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I think I would say because the production decided, right, eat or compete. It's not like they asked, hey, we'll sit out if you give us food. We're so hungry kind of moment. So that's that's my only like counterpoint to that. And then yeah, so of course that doesn't happen. Santony is sent to immunity, which we knew was the plan. And then Chappie says, we hope that her finding the idol gives more power to the Destiny 3. I like this name.
I love this name. I was getting excited and thinking that, that clip of Tyson talking about Anesu as the biggest target from the opening was going to be a misdirect. And maybe the Destiny 3 was going to take their destiny in their own hands and make a move.
Don't let, that's what I was going to say. Do not let the freaking edit, like, it's a straightforward edit. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
But I was proud of myself when Santony was approaching Immunity Island. I noticed the music they played. And I like was actually on the other side of my apartment getting a drink out of
Yes.
my fridge and heard the music. And I'm like, oh, she's at Immunity Island.
I
And I was
know.
just so proud of myself that I like picked up on the change of music
Yep.
and that she was there. And it was an easy decision for her. I think
Yeah.
whatever the challenge would have been, she was going to stay and play no matter what.
No, and she didn't have a choice. They would have been very mad at her.
Yeah.
Also, here's the thing. Could she have not played and still got the immunity idol?
I think she has to at least attempt to play. to
Not
get
the
idol.
fire idol. I'm talking about the hidden, the under the rock idol.
I believe so because
Got
we
it,
saw it
okay.
2 episodes ago. I think when
Right.
Warda got sent,
Yeah, and she
she would have had to stay and play to look.
Got it.
I
Okay.
think.
Interesting. Oh, because then you have to immediately leave. I guess that's why. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah. So then, Santini gets to Immunity Island, and it's a pretty hard puzzle where it's taken people like how long to get that. Like even on Big Brother, we've seen this puzzle where you have to the ropes
Like
to
pulleys on each side.
pulleys, yeah, to get a ball up into a hole. And they put her on a beam? Like, that's cruel.
This is really difficult. I actually have a miniature version of this challenge. It's about 12 inches tall. And with the pulley, you use your fingers to navigate the ball up into the snake's head. And it is so hard. I could not imagine doing this standing on a beam. We saw this like at the end of the Winners of War last year.
Yes.
The re-entry. And it took Rob and Tyson significantly longer than Santini did, and she was like this close to beating the sand.
Oh my god, no, if she would have gotten in, if the ball went in, I think they would have given it to her. I think at least. So oh my god, and she was like, I don't even want this stupid fire idol anyway. So cool. Like what I wanted was to play for the immunity to stay in place so that I could search for the immunity idol. And the fire idol looks like it'll force the person with the most votes to make fire, which I think is a cool little twist.
I really like it. I thought it was fun. It saves someone, but it doesn't save them 100%. You just give them the opportunity to make fire.
Which is what we, fans have been saying for a while. Like, we're tired of idol play. So I think I like that they're doing idols, but in a very like calculated way where it adds some more drama, and they could still go home if they don't beat the fire.
Yeah. I hope we see the fire idol come into future seasons because I think it could be a really fun dynamic in the game.
And turns out this is Nick from Survivors, of Survivor Australia's idea as well.
Shout out, Nick.
Yes. So that was really cool, where I think Survivor South Africa are just really bringing podcasters, fans like into it. And that's another reason why there's like these twists aren't so overbearing, but they're just more fun, except the twin twist or whatever we want to call it.
Ugh. But while Santini's at Immunity Island, I loved the montage of her looking under a rock for the idol, especially when she was sitting on the rock. The idol was buried under her feet, and she's telling us it's got to be here somewhere.
Oh my god. So here's my thing. When will people realize just follow the camera? Like,
I think people have realized it, but there were so many rocks on Immunity Island. The camera could be viewing, 5 to 10 maybe. And she did acknowledge, this rock's been here for a while.
Got it.
Which I was impressed with her saying that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Valid. I was just like giggling a lot.
But I cheered when she found that idol. I was so happy.
This is her third idol that she should have had. Okay. And this is only her first that she actually has in her hand. Oh, God. So Idol Whisperer gets her idol. The platinum record stays on because she found the idol. And then back at camp, they're talking about, well, if she's playing the game, she's not going to be coming back. And then, Santini went to Immunity, shows to Tyson that there are people playing the game against him. Yeah, very much that. And then Tyson says, I know I'm the most powerful, and I know that means that they're going to try to come for me. He's so aware. Like, there is not one, even though he has all the power, there's not one like bone in his body that takes it for granted.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this was an incredible read that he made I'm thinking what makes the most sense. They're going to target me. They want to get out of power play, and
Yeah.
I'm the easiest target. And that he's able to keep that emotion in check, not react, not have a confrontation with Chappies, but play it cool, calm, and collected, just waiting to strike at Tribal Council. And that takes such composure to just stay the course, waiting until the time is right. And it just like really speaks to his caliber as a player.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, this is why I can see him going far because he's a very smart player and he has power as well, right? Like Anesu is smart, but unfortunately just doesn't have power anymore. And then we get the Chappies, Nicole, and Tyson conversation, which I just can't stop laughing. Everyone is so fake. Where they're like, "We're getting Anella out, right? Cool, like got it." Why are they such good actors? Because again, I could never.
I agree. I loved this. Chappies was playing it so cool. He's like, "Oh, easy vote tonight, right, y'all? Like, let's target Smash," and just like assuming that Tyson's gonna buy it.
Yeah, and I think Tyson's assuming Chappies is gonna buy it. I'm saying it's like everyone is like behind the backs like guns, but on the front they're all hugging is what it feels like.
And as soon as Tyson walked away, we see Chappies and Nicole talking about the real plan. Like, we're voting for Tyson, right? He's been running the show. Now he is done.
And Nicole says, "What about Kieran?" Which I thought was interesting also.
I was so impressed that she said his name. Seeing that Tyson is aware he's the biggest threat and that Kieran isn't feeling nervous. I was just impressed with her gameplay. And I think that decision to say Kieran's name in this moment was the best decision she has made all game.
100%. Because I do think Tyson, without Kieran, I can see Tyson spiraling. Versus like with Kieran, he is exactly the power player positioned to make all the right moves.
I was really surprised that Chappies did not say yes, because when you are trying to pull the person in the middle onto your side, you let them decide who to vote for, because that's going to ensure they vote with you.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what I didn't understand what Chappies' move was, because if he would have said, yes, let's vote Kieran, I think Nicole would have stuck with them, and she would have convinced Anella to do that, because they're hearing what she's saying instead of saying, "Great idea, Nicole, but we're still going to vote Tyson."
Yeah.
That's not how you build an alliance.
Which is what, right? Kieran did with Santini. Okay, if you want Sean out, let's just do Sean. Like, I'm not going to argue with you anymore. Oh, God. It's hard because I think Chappies needs a Santini with him at all times, especially in these moments where I could see Santini like really getting Nicole, and Anesu, of course, getting Nicole to really understand their side a little better. But oh well. And then Kieran is now there where he says Santini and Chappies are safe because there's going to be idols. And then Kieran's talking to Anella, and he says they're going to play an idol for you, exactly like we did for Chappies, which I was like, I didn't hear this, but sure. Let's keep thinking wrong here.
I thought I was impressed with Kieran trying to think a step ahead of everyone else and really like opening up to Anella. Like, you are the misdirect.
Yes.
Vote with us. You will be here tomorrow. And if you stick with us, I promise that Warda will be one of the next two people voted out. That's not that final four. That is at like 6 or 5 or 7 or 6.
Huge to me, because it was a wrap. After that, I was like, how is Anella gonna not vote with them? Like, it makes no sense. Even if they're lying, how does he not take this deal for now, at least? Because he still has Nicole with him.
And I feel that Kieran identified Anella's desire to be a part of the alliance. He wants to be on 100%. That inner circle like he was with Rainier, and who's going to bring him that close? And it worked.
Period. It worked. Which I loved, of course. And then we see like old Vuna coming together being fakery on fakery because they're like, oh, blah, 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 smash, whatever. I didn't even take notes because I was so over them. And then somehow, so Anesu leaves to go talk to Anella. And then Warda is told, we're voting for Anesu. Did you think she was going to cry and flip the vote?
I actually did. I
Yeah,
thought
me
we were going to get the
too.
payoff from that scene in the first episode where they know each other,
Yes.
and Warda looked shocked.
No, because her hands went over her face, so I thought she was gonna cry and being like, "I'm not ready yet. Like, can we vote Chappies out? Not Chappies, but can we vote someone else out for now? Because of this." Oh,
It was just disheartening because I really thought that Warda and Anesu were tight and that Warda would see how close Kieran and Tyson are and that she needs someone, an
yeah.
ally just as close. And now
That's
she's
what
all
I'm
by herself.
saying. To me, your foursome needs to be a 2-2. That's the
Yeah.
only way you can get to the three. Because if it's not 2-2, and it's 2-1, or sorry, yeah, 3-1. If Anella is with them, then like you're in trouble, girl. Like my God. Um,
What did you think of the scene? I think it was right before or after this when Kieran is telling Tyson the
yes.
plan to Anella and that, I told him Ward is going to be one of the next two out. Is that okay with you?
I'm got like the amount of times I was gobsmacked where I was like, I'm gonna do so bad on this podcast because I'm just like shocked. I have no words. Kieran's very smart. This is the right thing to do because again, you never want the person you're closest aligned with feeling like that you're talking and making decisions about the
Without
alliance
them.
without them. Period.
And I was impressed with Tyson's reaction where he said, yes, of course that's fine. It's you and me. Whoever else we need to
Mm-hmm.
tell is number three. Like, tell them
Yep.
whatever. And
Exactly.
in this moment, I really started realizing how much that Tyson and Kieran are reminding me of Wendell and Dom from Ghost Island. I don't think we've seen such a duo since Dom and Wendell, because they are just in lockstep with every decision and they just like trust each other so much.
Listen, you don't want how many people will be on jury, right? Because you don't want such close split. Because I right now, spoiler alert, I see Kieran and Tyson making it to the end because
Yeah.
how cutthroat they are. So I'm very stressed that they might split the vote because of it, because they're been so close together.
And I'll say this for the record though, Warda is not a Laurel.
No,
And no one should compare them.
hell
While we're
no.
comparing the two male duos to each other, I am not trying to compare Warda to Laurel. They're very separate players.
Absolutely not. Like Warda will drag them to hell and back. Like, I can just see them splitting the vote, but you're right. Maybe Warda gets the votes because of it. Rather, I should say I don't want to like leave Warda out. But yeah, it's oh God, this is wild. And then yeah, so that happens, and then Anesu, is saying like I'm gonna talk to Nicole and said this is the last time we're gonna be talking. So I'm gonna be putting Tyson down. I hope you do too. Nicole said she feels like this is more sincere and valid than the other three. And she wants to get Smash on board because like this is the better version for her. And this is if she sits next to Chappies and Santony, she wins because eventually, basically, she doesn't see Anesu making it that far. And then Anesu tells her, you and I are on the talking block, so let's like talk through this, blah blah blah. And then Anesu comes back to I think it's Kieran,
And
Warda,
Warda.
and talking about her. And then Anesu comes back. The music changes. We get a little like weird music going. And then Warda leaves. And this is a really interesting conversation to me, Jason. What did you think? Because Kieran and Anesu were talking about how they've been tight together, literally, and and just because of their games. And they don't want to like turn into hating each other, blah blah blah. You and I are on the chopping block.
I was so taken by surprise
Yes.
during this conversation because we, the audience, knew these two were targeting each other. And they both played it cool as cucumbers, not letting the other person know, I'm voting for you tonight. And Anestu even saying, if they realize it, we are the A-list. We are
Yep.
the top targets. We're playing such a similar game. And she said, how ironic it would be if we're actually both targeting each other. And we saw her kind of thinking this might happen. We saw a glimmer of paranoia from her. And so I really thought she was going to play the tribal council pass that night.
Yeah.
But we didn't see any of that paranoia from Kieran. He was so like, I got the votes. I have nothing to worry about. Let Anesu think whatever she wants. And he was just so confident and almost arrogant in this conversation that nothing Anesu could say was going to rattle him.
Nope. And then we get his confessional where she's saying she's really good at bringing people together just like me. And what that means is like she can do everything just as I can, and that's why she got to go. I have a question for you also. Maybe we can talk about it right before tribal because there's still a few, it's like 2 or 3 more conversations that happen. But like, why is no one telling Anesu she is the target?
I feel they're not telling her because they know how great of a threat she is to win the game. They know if she can get another few votes and people on her side, she's going to the end and she will sweep her opponents in final tribal. And I think they were just so afraid of her as a social and strategic threat that they just had to keep everything on lock. I cannot believe she did not suss out and see people like feel they were targeting her because
especially
I saw the clues.
Your other 2 allies, right, and your 3 are safe. Who's left? You.
Exactly. And I was hoping we would see a conversation between Anesu and Chappies.
Or Nicole and Anesu.
Yeah, to say what's going on. Like if they're who are they voting for? And Anesu got confident, I feel. In this moment, she thought she was untouchable and that the destiny plan was going to work and that she'd be able to flip Anella. And that was just not the case.
Yep, because then the next thing, I agree with you where I was very confused. I will say that Nicole didn't tell Anesu. I think Nicole didn't tell Anesu for self-preservation because she's like, well, if Anesu does something, Smash and I are on the chopping block and like him and I can't get voted out. So anyone but us, literally, right? I guess it makes sense. I'm frustrated, but and then so Nicole and Smash are now having a conversation where Nicole says, listen, like, why should we get rid of Anesu right now? You know, those 3 are so strong. The best move right now is to get rid of Tyson. And she, again, shares that I trust them and, you know, they're more genuine.
And that when we get to 5, Anesu will flip to us and vote out Santini and Chappies.
Yep.
And I thought that was going to take Anella to their side because in the opposite, you have Nicole and Anella in a 5 with the other 3.
3
is more than 2, no matter how you do the math. And I don't know how Anella does not realize that.
Well, we know that this is not his strong suit because of just what happened with the Marisha vote, right? He was one of the loudest people to say, no, let's stick to the plan. So I unfortunately don't think that that's something he thinks through. But then we get a confessional of freaking Anella saying, I owe Nicole. So if she wants Tyson out, like that's what I'm going to do. How you lied to us like that, man? How can you sleep at night?
Most. Because it's one thing to lie to the people on the beach, but tell us your plans.
Yeah. Like why? Like I'm assuming the production asked for this, but like all their other things have been such a like their other edits have been pretty cut to cut, like honest. So I don't understand why we don't get an Anella confessional here, which says I love Nicole, I owe her, but I want to do what's best for my game, right? Like at least just say that. But he literally said I owe Nicole, so I'm gonna, maybe listen to her. What the?
And he also made a comment about how she saved him last vote, and he's gonna save her this vote. Does that mean he's going to turn on her on the next vote? Because he only saved her for once. And I hope he doesn't, because I think his only path to get to the end and to win is with Nicole. It's not with Tyson and Kieran.
I am just so mad. It was a hot mess. I will say. I don't know. Like I think I'm just so frustrated because why did the edit was pretty straightforward. So why is the confessionals not matching up? But okay, fine. And then I
got really aggravated on what happened next when Anesu was giving us this confession about how she thinks we're blindsiding Tyson, but if she gets even a smidgen of a big move from Kieran, she's going to play the tribal council pass.
Yep.
So I kept thinking, well, our hero's going to save the day. She's not going home tonight. Like something will happen. and she will be here.
Yeah, I really want to know from her, like, why did she feel so safe to not use the past? Like, what happened? Maybe I don't think any exit interviews are out yet, so I'm sure someone will have asked her already because that is bizarro behavior. Because she's again so smart, such a smart player, but I think when you have even any semblance of power, it's a wrap. Like you're done.
And I also feel if Santony would have been there on the beach after the challenge, she would have sussed out what was
Yeah,
going on.
and she would have told.
Yeah, she would have gone to Anesu and said, we need a new plan. They're targeting you, because
Yep.
she would have overheard someone saying something. I'm also really surprised in this episode we didn't see a return of the Spy Shack.
Spy Shack. Oh
because
my god.
I thought that's how they were going to break the plan, is that Chappie's, we would see him
Yes.
blinking in the trees and he would be like, Anesu, they're voting for you. The destinies might not align. And
I'm telling you, it just none of it made sense. I will be honest, because it did not work. Like it did not work. There was not enough. I think Chappie's like maybe wasn't like they're smart enough not to tell Chappie's, and maybe Chappie's is not like around the same group enough to where he could suss something out versus a Santony who could.
And he felt
drag.
safe wearing the necklace. He didn't need to hide in the Spy
So
Shack
it's like a
because
little
he knew
pause.
he was waking up
Yep.
there tomorrow.
And that's kind of the end of unfortunately pre-tribal. I was still like had hope in my heart that Anella and Nicole would see the light. We'll see our light, I will say, because I think he did the right move for himself. So anyway, we start and Nico is dragging again. Nico's like, well, why did y'all do this? And then was it Tyson that said this, right? I'm black, I can't, so I'm not beating Chappies.
It was Tyson, and I don't think Nico expected it, because he asked the question again. So what happened?
And
you're just going against Aquaman? No?
Tyson literally said it, I think, like 4 times. Like, I don't think it was 4, but like I thought my feed was messed up because I was like, oh, it glitched. It happened like 3 times. And then I was like, nope, Tyson literally is like, nah, like it wasn't happening, dude. So I love how they're just like not having it with Nico.
No, and because they've realized how good of a host Nico is, that he's asking them these prying questions, trying to get them to open up. And when they make a blindside like tonight, they are all like lock and key. They're not blinking. Tyson looked off tonight. I thought his vibe was very different in Tribal tonight than we've seen in any other Tribal he's been to.
Agreed.
And so I was really surprised Anesu did not pick up on that.
I just think that the problem is like she knows like his vibe has been off to her for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think for her it isn't anything different, if that makes sense. Like she's kind of like, yeah, he's been off. Remember the conversation at the tree where she's like, are we good? Are we good? And he's just like, remember. So it's unfortunately been a few times that she's just felt off. I'm just very confused. Yeah, how she didn't feel a little bit more scared to use that pass because no one knows about it.
Exactly, and that's what I didn't understand, because you were already down a vote with Santa.
Yes.
And why not try to balance the numbers?
Yeah, or send someone else out if you aren't good. But I think, again, they were so set on the destiny plan from last week where they wanted to use that pass to vote someone, to take someone's vote away instead of saving themselves. I think that's why. I think, sometimes when a plan gets stuck in your head, you're not really thinking about anything else.
Yeah, one thing that stood out to me during this interaction was after Tyson said he didn't compete because he's black. A few moments later, Nico's like, so Anesu. And then kind of paused, and I was like, Nico, but you're good in the water. Why didn't you compete? You compete in challenges, and I thought Anesu had the best answer. And where she said, on a good day, I might be able to do this, but I woke up this morning, and I wasn't 100%. I felt depleted. I needed the food to survive. And it seemed so honest and humble the way she was talking about this need, unlike any other answer we saw in the council.
Yeah. Do you think that's why she just wasn't 100 and like she made a mistake because she's so depleted?
I honestly don't think that's the reason why.
Yeah.
I think Actually, it was because she felt her bond with Warda was from outside the game. And if people were
Oh,
saying
yeah.
Anesu's name, she thought in her heart that Warda would tell her and give her the heads up and the courtesy that they're coming for you, even if it was at Tribal Council. And that I think
Yeah.
that's what surprised her the most.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. And then yeah, and Chappies also says, honestly, like I don't think anyone could have beat me. So they were kind of right. And then Nico asked Nicole. This is where like I feel like I was on a roller coaster because Nico asked Nicole, like, hey, do people feel safe? Is that why they didn't do it? And then I like Nicole's answer because again, she's trying to play the middle. She cannot drag anyone. So she says, no, I think it's not just safety. It's that there's food, there's hunger, there's depletion, so it's like all plus they feel maybe safe. It's all of it together. So I appreciated that from Nicole. I think like it's nice to like stand up for, your tribe.
And she also said, if you're feeling comfortable, you're not playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that really stood out to me that she was showing up at this tribal council in a way we have not
very
seen
opposite.
her at
Yeah,
Emerge so far.
Exactly. And especially compared to her last week where it was just like fumbling and bumbling. So yeah, so she talks about people should be worried though if you feel comfortable. Again, come on, Anesu, wake up. And then Santini, then Santini's asked, but she believes it'll be fine, even though she doesn't have a vote. So here's another moment where I think she's relying on her 4 instead, which is a bummer. And then Nico asked Tyson. This is where I was like, oh, because Nico says, do you have a majority vote? Why this man didn't say yes?
He didn't say a thing. He didn't shake his head. He didn't blink. He was trying to turn invisible in this moment.
Yes.
How did this not tip off Anesu?
Thank you. Oh my God. Like immediate answer should have been yes. Can't wait to be Vuna strong.
Yeah, because everyone else are the final 6.
Yep.
He should have blurted it out.
Because I don't understand how they like everyone's lying, right? Every single person is lying in this tribal. So how is it that these people aren't like taking a moment and like understanding that like, oh, he hesitated. I didn't like that. So that means that he's not with me.
And I was really surprised in this moment. We didn't see Chappies start whispering to Nicole.
Yes.
Even though I hate whispering at tribal council, that would have been the appropriate reaction to make sure his allies were on his side. Because if Tyson is being so cagey, something's not right.
It was just, I don't know. I just think it was, yeah. Again, not entirely sure. I just think that when you feel like your plan is in motion, you just kind of want to stick to it. And I think that's what was going on. And then,
well, then Kieran is next.
Oh my God. You have to explain this because I don't understand what the hell is going on.
He's talking about this hit list on how Nicole and Anella are a faction. So if we keep them here, it's going to be 6 versus 2. And those aren't the best odds compared to 6 versus 1. And I'm like, all right, that makes sense. That's what your allies want to hear.
Yes.
But then he takes a turn where he says, if we flip and we vote out one of the other 3, those 2 people are going to work with their 2 people, making 4 out of 7 is a majority. And so he was literally, like, I feel foreshadowing what we're going to see in the next episode.
100%.
That now Chappies and Santini can reference to Nicole and Anella and say, this is what Kieran said at Tribal. He doesn't think you're with them. You should vote with us. And I was just yelling off my couch, Anesu, do you hear this? Play your pass.
Thank you. This is why another reason why I didn't understand, because I was like, he's straight up not counting y'all in anything, or he's counting all of you, right? I'm as in the 3 Santini, Chappies, and Anesu with Anella and Nicole. You're all
already
together for him. What are you not understanding? That this is an issue, that he's not saying 6 and 2, 6 and 2. He's not saying that. Oh.
And I was really surprised because this, to me, was the first time Kieran has kind of showed his cards at Tribal.
Yes.
Jury was to his detriment. He
Yes.
shouldn't have said that. And I really think it's going to come back and bite him next week. And I
I
hope
don't
we see
know.
at the next tribal someone references that. Well, you predicted this is going to happen, and guess what's happening tonight?
I mean, listen,
We
I
can
think we
wish.
can hope it, but I think they're set up too well. I think it Anella is the key to that, and I don't think Anella is getting it
Yeah,
yet.
and Anella wants to bro down with Kieran and Tyson.
That's why. There's no way. I don't believe it. Even if everyone else calls it out, which again, I don't if Amy would have stayed over Nicole, it would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But or Rainier, right? He would have called it, but these two just aren't it, unfortunately. They're a little bit I think they're good players. I don't want to like dog on them, but I just think they're the layers don't run as deep as they would with maybe Amy and Rainier, especially with Nicole. I think where Anella, I think they don't have the same like outlook at the end of the day. Like Nicole would have flipped if I think Anella flipped, but
Mm-hmm.
Anella was very much like, nah, these are my guys. Versus I think Amy, who would have tried to figure something out.
I agree with you completely. I think while Anella and Nicole are both good players, they don't have the knowledge of the history of the game that both
Yeah.
Amy and Rainier do. As fans, that's what we know about them. They are strategists.
Yes.
They are there to play the
Exactly.
game and be one step ahead and be
Mm-hmm.
more proactive when I feel Nicole and Anella have been more reactive.
Yep. That's exactly it. And and then the jury is like pissed because the jury's like, you have the numbers. What are you talking about? And then the jury's even clocking it. Granted, everyone is freaking lying in here. So the jury is about to get blindsided. But still, I was like, look at the jury. The jury is stressed. And then, Anesu starts talking about, hey, we are gonna start cannibalizing. So this is where I was like, maybe she's gonna play it because she knows what's going on. Because she's talking about cannibalizing. It might feel chaotic, but it's time.
People
Now
say
that
she's the one flipping.
yes, people are calling me untrustworthy. So, blah blah blah. But then says it's time to keep us safe. And I was like, so this is where I was like, oh, Anesu like knows. So it will be fine, everyone. I thought that Santini was playing the idol here because I was like, oh, Santini's just gonna play the idol for her, and maybe that's why she's not gonna use her pass. And then Warda talks about well, it was normal to send Santini to Immunity Island because we are all together. All six of us are together. And Santini said, she's pissed about the barbecue and being picked last.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Chappies made me feel, special. Nico is like, shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up.
I struggle to believe that. Is I think what he said.
Yes, he was so mad. To me, I was like, did like camera people not tell Nico that this is all a lie and that like, they're gonna flip? Or that is it that Nico knew and that he was like, nah, let's just like put it out there. I don't like this fakeness. Because that's where I was. I was over the fakeness.
Well, I was happy to see this old version of Anella come back to be like, well, I wasn't surprised at all. I know how close Chappies and Santini are. I saw them with my own eyes. You can't fool me. And Santini was not having it.
Oh, hell no. This is another one where I was like, Anella's not flipping, right? Or is he that he's flipping so well that he's selling it? Because Santini going at Anella showed me that there's already distrust. So there's no way they're all going to vote together. So something, had to be up. But anyway, so she says, here Smash goes, planting the seeds. And, I voted his closest ally out, R.I.P. Paul. So, I voted him out. So it's pretty obvious, what I am about. But Anella's not having it. He's just like, blah, 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 blah. And then did you catch Anesu calling him a tattletale? She whispers tattletale when he was talking. Anesu, they like pan to Anesu and it's her just saying, tail like that. So it was a really good moment where I was like, something's going on. This is not right. It's not working. Abort.
I did find it very entertaining and almost amusing that Santini thinks she can convince these people that her and Chappies are not thick as thieves. They are clearly the tightest duo in the game and have been for 10, 12, 15 days. And she each time is like, I'm not close with him. He doesn't like me. And like, she really thinks we're gonna believe that? Come
Or
on,
come up with
Santini.
another excuse, right? Isn't there something else you could say, like, well, we had no choice but to be close together because of how you are doing.
Yeah, you
You know,
put us
blah blah
both on
blah.
the outs. We had to be
Exactly.
together.
Yeah, like you talk down to me, blah blah. You know, like I would gaslight the mess out of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? God. Who? And then we get, you know, Nico, like, sorry, and then Anella saying, I know there are cracks. They need to take stabs at each other. Another moment why I was like, Anesu, wake up.
It's like she had noise canceling headphones on and she wasn't hearing what people were
Yeah.
saying around her.
Something. And then Nicole, you know, says they were about to start fighting. So but maybe not now. Maybe now it's still an easy vote. And then they all jump on the bandwagon of the yeah. It's an easy vote tonight. It's an easy vote tonight.
Mm.
Oh God.
Then we get to the votes.
Oh,
They
yeah.
all go up to vote, and I'm just like waiting to be like, when is she gonna play the tribal council pass?
I thought it was Santini's gonna play the idol at this
I-
point. Because I'm like, Santini's gonna play the idol. We're fine, everyone. Just, you know, they've done the right things. Like, we'll be fine. But nothing happens, Jason. Nothing freaking happens.
The first Anesu vote comes up, and did you see Santini and Chappies frantically look at each other like, oh shit, our plan failed?
Flop City, because it's
It
not
broke my
even,
heart.
oh my God. And Chappie started crying. Probably because Chappie's was like, shoot, we could have done something. So here is my
Missed
big,
opportunity.
yeah, here's my big thing, right? Kieran Tyson have been the ones to, you know, kind of mastermind this wild plan, like Marisha on. So I'm wondering, is it that like Chappie's and Nesu and Santini are just a little bit too safe of players, and that's why they couldn't kind of make it happen, you know, because Tyson was like, it's my idol, but I'm still gonna play it on Chappie's because that means I get farther in the game, and he's a little reckless.
Mm-hmm.
Versus I think these three.
I hear where you're coming from. I feel if Anesu or Chappies would have heard her name, they would have told Santini to play the idol. But because Santini
I
wasn't
see what
there,
you're saying.
she had no idea. She trusted her allies,
Yeah.
Chappies and Anesu, to flip Nicole and Anella. She thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But pick up on the context clues. What's happening at Tribal? That being said, I did think Santini made the right decision not being forced to play her idol because she's playing an individual game for her, and she needs to play that idol next time.
And that's what I was gonna say, because she's definitely not safe at all. Because they're coming for her next, and then Chappie's. To me, that seems like the boot order. If we still have an idol, we still have a tribal advantage. So hopefully that will. But the problem is, as soon as the tribal pass gets played, the idol, I think, is gonna have to get played. Or people get screwed.
What I'm hoping for next week is that Chappie's wins individual immunity. Santini plays her idol.
Yep.
They use the council pass and take out one of the three power players, being Tyson, Kieran, and Warda.
Let's see.
So what did you think when
Yeah.
Anesu got voted out, and when she was hugging Chappies, she gave him the tribal council pass?
Yes. One, is that allowed? I'm grateful that it is allowed, I want to say, because she says, you know, like, take the pass, and then Chappie says, like, I will get revenge for you. And you could see that he was like very upset. And then Tyson just looks so happy. Which is mad because I love Tyson, obviously, and I want him to win. I want Kieran to win. I want Warda to win. I want Anesu to win. That's my problem. But you know, I was very surprised that she gave Chappies the pass and not Santini, but I think it's because they just built they were Destiny 1.0.
And she told Chappies first about
Yes, exactly.
So they have that bond. Yeah. And I loved Anesu when her torch got snuffed, and she's like, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Yeah.
I had a great time playing with y'all. And she just was so filled with joy and not spite like some of the other castaways have been when they got voted out this season.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not us saying the same name, but it's true. Because I will say, I mean, Sean was really nice once he was finally out, but like very salty person. But I will say, like, I also Anesu is such a brilliant player that, like, I think she just at the last moment just didn't have the right people, I think, with her. And I think the other two weren't like Santini and Chappies, with Santini being gone. She only really had Chappies, who I think just wasn't necessarily in the know in the same way. Which is what ended up happening for her. And I still don't understand why they don't like her. That's the still big question mark for me.
Yeah, what bothered me the most about these end credit scenes when we saw the votes is when Tyson called Anesu a snake.
A snake. What
because
the hell?
Tyson, you are a snake.
Yes.
Like, game, respect, game. She is a strategist just like you. That's why you voted her out, because she's your biggest threat, not because she is a snake. And I just hate that he referred to her as that in this moment.
And it's gross. It's really gross because, like, if a woman, right, is playing the same game as a man, Kieran, right there, Kieran admits it, that they're playing the same game. Why is she a snake? Why can't she just be a strong, powerful player? Like, it's gross and it's misogynistic, honestly.
It's extremely misogynistic.
Yeah, because women, like, you know, when they, and we've seen this for freaking years and years in Survivor, where any woman that plays a hard game is, you know, relegated to these very specific, awful stereotypes. We talked about this with Pinty, where just because she's a woman of color, she gets called aggressive, and she, you know, all of these things. It's the same thing for Anesu. Anesu is far from a snake. She's been voting with them the whole time. So what do you mean voting with them? As in, like, she's been relaying information back. She's been telling them everything and being like, are you sure you want me to vote with them? Fine, I'll still do it for 2 more tribals. So how dare you call her a snake when it was decided that she would be doing that?
And it's not a snake move to vote out the biggest target in the game. That is an intelligent game move, to vote out the biggest threat. She's not backstabbing him. She's taking out her biggest competition. And if she is a snake, I hope he calls Kieran a snake just as much.
Period. And that's what I don't understand. And it was just really disgusting, because that is not the, like, soundbite I wanted her to go out on, if that makes sense.
And even though she did say in her 28 days, she loved being there, she made all the right moves, and I really do believe that she played a 99.9% perfect game, and her only mistake was at this tribal council not playing the pass.
Yep.
Everything else she did was perfect.
Yep. Exactly. And she's always been in the know. That's, I think, what hurt her maybe, is that, like, the one time she was super not in the know was when it was against her.
Yeah, she played so great. Socially, strategically, physically, she brought it every episode. She gave it to us in the confessionals. She's giving it to us on Twitter. Like, we love you, Anesu. We are so disappointed to see you get voted out in this episode. I really thought she was going to win the game.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't make sense for her not to. Oh, it's okay. Whatever. And, you know, so I hope that Chappies uses the pass well, and that Santini, you know, like, kind of guides him a little through it. Not that he's, like, dumb. Like I said, I don't think he's a dumb player. I just think that Santini just has her hands in every pot a little bit more than he does. And that's why they should not trust Nicole either. Because how dare you, Nicole, not vote with Anesu? Like, why did you vote for her? Like, it made that was off. That broke my heart. I was like, even Nicole, damn.
That being said, I think Nicole is going to go with Chappies and Santini next week, and that Vern and Nella are going to split up. I really think so, because if it gets down to 6 people there, say Chappies sends Anella back to camp.
Yeah.
And says, Nicole, let's tie it up. Let's go to rocks. That's the only way to get one of those 3 out. I think Nicole would do it.
Yeah, I think she'll do it, because, again, self-preservation, I don't think she gives 0 Fs about anyone, which is fine. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. So that's what I mean. I think it needs to be some ballsy move. Like, it cannot be a, like, let's keep talking about it at camp. Because to me, like, Kieran seems to be the biggest strategist left. And he's just really good at moving the chess pieces. chess pieces his way.
I'm really curious to see how Warda responds. And if Chappies tries to bring her over to their side, or if somehow Anella tells Nicole, they told me I'm like their number 3. If he like shares that information, the ship is sinking because Warda will flip on them so fast.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Where unless Kieran somehow tells Warda beforehand that, like, just so you know, I said this to Smash just to get him to vote with us. Unless Kieran does that, they're gonna be in big trouble. But let's see, because last week we wanted Anella to speak up. Remember, being like, "Hey, why didn't you say?" I can't even remember what it was.
Yeah, he was their number 4 over Anesu.
Yeah, so like, why didn't Kieran say Anella say this last time? So that's why I'm not so hopeful. But listen, if that means that Tyson, Kieran, Anella, and Warda win, whatever. That's still amazing. That's why it's funny when all your faves end up in this place, because you're like, well, I want them all to stay and let Nicole go.
And that's exactly how I feel. I'm saying this against Tyson and Kieran, but I've been loving their gameplay all season.
Exactly.
It's so hard when our favorites are going against each other. Who do we side with? And we just have to be in this moment reactive, because they took out Anesu. We can't support that. Come on.
I just can't believe Anesu was the one picked. Oh, why not anyone else? Anyone but Anesu, damn it. It's okay. You know, she deserves her flowers, and I know I've seen on Twitter she's getting a lot of them, as she deserves.
Yeah.
And that, you know, ends this episode. The next week we're gonna get a Survivor auction, which Santony's very pissed she lost half her money. Because I'm sure Santony's like, well, I took one for the team and got screwed. Rightfully so, but I think, what can she do? Her and Chappies are the only 2 left of the 3 now, so she needs to make some moves, girl.
And I'm predicting that Chappies is going to put all of his money to try to get the advantage or a clue to an immunity item.
I hope
he's not going to eat anything. He is there to play.
I can see that very.
It's going to be, I think, him and Kieran. They're going to be the 2 that'll go head to head for the advantage.
100%. Yeah, I can see it. Or let's see, because I think it just depends, because I can see Anella doing that too, because I can see Anella getting caught up. But if there's food,
I think Anella's bidding on the first food item he sees.
Exactly.
He needs the nourishment.
Yeah, so let's see. I think it can get dicey. So I'm excited for it. That seems to be like the biggest thing happening next week. And then anything else about this episode, Jason?
The last thing I have to say about this episode is, after this, Kieran is very high on the list to win the game. I really think it's going to be him or Tyson that get crowned the sole survivor.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, first of all, I'm like done with my threat list. I was like, I want to hear yours, but like, it's so hard with this edit. It's just not an edit we're used to. They're pretty straightforward. It's week to week edit at this point. So the people, I can see a only straight path for is Tyson and Kieran. We want Santony also, but I can't see it.
Oh, yeah, I'm the biggest Stantony there is. I'm not dropping it. I'm playing those platinum record songs every week. I want to see her make the moves, and something needs to break her way, and that's all it takes for her to get to the end. And I would love to see her win, but I just don't know how realistic it is. Unfortunately, it hurts me to say that.
Yeah. And I'm just not sure, but that's what I feel. So yeah, right now I'm betting on Kieran. Listen, loyal to the soil. I gotta, hope an Indian band can pull it out at this point. And with that, I think we just low-key talked about a threat list. But it's fine. We are still hurting everyone. Give us a moment. But yeah, Jason, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @TheRealJO, where I'm posting about all things reality TV, Survivor, Big Brother 23, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. You can also see me live tweeting some of the podcasts Sasha does. So if you want to laugh, follow me just for that reason.
Please.
Chris Brown sweat on her, and it was the best moment of her life. If you need any
I want to make that clear. This was pre what he did to Rihanna. Okay,
sorry. Yeah, asterisk. That was a
Please.
long time ago.
Yeah, he is canceled for me now.
Yeah,
Okay,
canceled.
I want to make that clear. I don't want to get canceled. And for me, you can find me on Twitter at funsize_04. I host my own show on RHAP called Love and Wrap Up. So check it out wherever you get your podcast. I talk about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Again, you have to have no background. It's just a fun thing you can jump into. Mari and I just talked about our concert experiences, all the wild things we did as teenagers. So it's just an all around riot with some, reality TV, I think, sprinkled in. It's really just about our lives. So it just, again, it's a mess. It's a fun time. Please go check it out. And Chappelle and I will be talking Never Have I Ever this week as well. We'll be talking about season 1, episodes 3 and 4. So that'll be out this week as well. We've gotten a lot of good reception from it, obviously, because Davey's crazy and we love her. And last thing is, hopefully we'll be coming out with a challenge podcast with Jason and the crew, of course. Geneva and Carrie will also be on. So get excited. It'll be out soon-ish as well. So that's kind of what's coming up for the both of us, actually. And make sure you like, comment, and share this video. This is also up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so check it out there. Leave us some reviews, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and subscribe to like everything basically for more content related to scripted TV, anime, movies, etc. So talk to us, let us know how you're feeling. And with that, thanks for listening, everyone. Goodbye.
See ya.